And I think we're going.
Good morning, Mr. Mangat and Mr. Fredericks. Mr. Mangat being the applicant and Mr. Fredericks being the presenter on behalf of the Planning Department of the Municipality of Kings. This is a public information meeting. Public information meetings are simply what they say they are. That is to say that the information that's being shared in this video presentation has to do with providing information to the community, particularly to the community in the area involved with the application. Mr. Fredericks is here on behalf of staff to present the information and explain the policies under which council can consider the application and the criteria that council will use to evaluate the proposal. At this point in time, of course, this is for information only about the proposed project, and no evaluation and no decisions have been made at this point in time by council.
Okay.
So the information gives the applicant the chance to present the proposal directly to those interested and allows any neighbors to ask questions once they view the presentations, and provide earlier comments via phone or email to the planner to be included as part of the staff report that comes to the Planning Advisory Committee subsequent to this time.
Okay.
So I'm Mayor Peter Mattard. I'm acting as chair on behalf of Deputy Mayor Lutz, whose district this is in, but as many would know, Deputy Mayor Lutz is on an unpaid leave of absence due to the forthcoming provincial election, and I undertook to her that I would stand in for her on any matters similar to this. And here on behalf of planning staff is the planner Mark Fredericks, and here on behalf of the applicant is the applicant himself, Windermere Mangat. And I'm looking to Mr. Fredericks to begin his presentation as soon as he's ready. Mr. Mangat, what's your actual place of residence?
That's in Calgary.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm doing the farming for the last 2 years because we did plant our benchcraft apple trees in 2019. And still working on them. The first ones were ambrosia. We did about 10 acres, and this year we did another 15 acres in honeycress.
15 acres of honeycress?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Fredericks is with us. Mr. Fredericks, we're ready to begin with the presentation when you're ready, sir.
Great. Thanks for the patience there. Sorry, we just had an alarm go off. Okay, I'm going to select the screen to share. Okay, you guys seeing that now?
Yes, thank you.
Great. So we've got an application from Pravinder Mangat, who wants to add a home to a new farm that he's establishing with family members. And this is located in the A1 or agricultural zone. The purpose of this meeting is to inform the public of the application, to explain some of the planning policies, and receive some feedback from the local community.
Okay.
The proposal is essentially to add a residential dwelling to this property that we'll look at in a moment, and it's associated with a new farm. So this would be a home for Pravinder and perhaps other family members to be close to the farm and be able to tend the fields at different hours of the day. There is a development agreement required for this under our new planning regulations within the A1 zone. You are able to add a residential dwelling associated with a new farm through a development agreement process.
Okay.
So we're located in Windermere, which is just south of Berwick. It's in the certainly in the agricultural zone. This is in a fairly productive area of really good soils, just south of Highway 1. We're located on Taylor Road, so this is sort of just down from Highway 1 in South Berwick, not far from the town of Berwick. And this area is primarily zoned A1. Historically, this particular property and the area has been fairly good farmland for both crops and pastures. And since 2019, this particular property was purchased by the applicant and his family, who have since been converting this former crop field into an apple orchard. So they've planted, property is approximately 35 acres, and most of that is planted now with a combination of ambrosia apples and Honeycrisp apples. I believe there's still a chunk still to be planted. And this is a satellite photograph just sort of showing the area. It's interestingly, it's almost all zoned A1, but you can see that even though we have it A1 zoning, there's still a lot of forested area, and this is fairly typical across the valley floor. There's often very productive soils under forest cover. But the subject property here is fairly well cleared. It was a cropped pasture in the past. This is a site plan that was submitted by the applicant, same sort of property outline. This establishes kind of where the orchards are located. Many of these have been planted already, but I believe that this northern portion remains to be planted in the future. But these lower orchard areas and these field roads, drilled well, the shed, and the proposed dwelling location have all sort of been established. There's an approved driveway access down here at the bottom of the property, and this is just highlighted in an orange circle because this is sort of the intent of why we do this process and why we have land use regulations, particularly in the agricultural zone, where the location of this home is as I think as good as we could ask for in terms of preserving the open farmland. So having the home down here in the bottom corner certainly helps to minimize the impact on the farmland, having it close to the road and kind of out of the way. So the policy that we look to here is in the municipal planning strategy. Policy 3417 allows council to consider, by development agreement, the development of a new dwelling for a new farmer or a farmer that has recently relocated to the municipality of Kings. And this policy is intended to apply to full-time active farmers. In considering these kind of proposals, council takes the following criteria into consideration. We'll look at that in just a sec, but this is an important policy because this is a change in direction in how the municipality is dealing with homes in the A1 zone. There was, I think, more flexibility in our previous land use documents, and this is now the policy that we will see used for new farm dwellings in association with new farms or startup farms in the municipality. So this is the policy that enables council to consider this kind of development agreement to allow for a new home. And the criteria look like this. First, we request that a site plan be submitted, and we just looked at that. That site plan should show things like location of crops or barns and sheds, where the residential dwelling may be located, where the access points are located, site servicing and landscaping and so on. So that site plan has been submitted. We'll be reviewing that, but certainly that's a part of it in terms of location of the home. We want to see that the home is not located in the very middle of the field or way back in the rear portion of a field, because we've had some indication that that can create some additional land use conflict. So the site plan is primarily looking at how the site's arranged, but also where the home is proposed to be. And in this case, we've got a home proposed right in the bottom corner, right next to the road. So that's certainly appealing. Criteria B looks at the submission of a professional business plan. This has also been submitted by the applicant. This business plan establishes the kind of farming business model, looking at what are the inputs, what are the outputs, who are the buyers, and in this case, the applicant has been working closely with Scotian Gold on both supply of materials and equipment, and as well as they would be the likely end purchaser of bulk apple products. So we look for a site plan and we look for a business plan, and we also look at some intent or some demonstration of farm financing, and whether that's investment in infrastructure like tractors and sheds and barns, but also it may be farm financing. And in this case, the applicant has submitted evidence of a loan through the Nova Scotia Farm Loan Board. And so, and also they've stocked a new tractor and installed a well. And so there's certainly an indication of, investment in this farm operation. The last criteria doesn't really apply to this particular type of farm, but in the case of a proposed livestock operation, the municipality would also look for a manure storage plan. But again, because this is an orchard rather than a livestock operation, this criteria doesn't apply. But we will review these criteria in more detail in the planning report, as well as these general criteria. The general criteria outlined here are a set of criteria that we review with every development agreement and land use bylaw amendment. And these generally are fairly high level, fairly general in their specificity. We look to see, is the proposal in keeping with the planning strategy? Is it in keeping with the intent of what the planning strategy is trying to achieve? And we look at financial impact. Sometimes development can have a financial impact on the municipality, whether we take ownership of public roadways. We also look at feasibility of services, be that water and sewer or otherwise. We also look at potential for land use conflict, and certainly in the area, it's an agricultural area, so it doesn't seem like it would be a major conflict, but these are the sorts of criteria that we review in the process. We also look at things like impact on well fields and a site suitability. So we see, is it a big swamp or is it dry? Is it heavily forested? Is it cleared? Those are the sorts of things that we would look at in terms of site suitability. So this is just a snapshot of those general criteria. There are more, and they will all be reviewed in more detail in the planning report to the Planning Advisory Committee. This is just an overview of the process. Again, we're fairly early on in this process. It does take some time. We received a completed application which had everything necessary, and we're at this public information stage where we're hoping to gather some feedback from the local community, provide information, and hopefully hear some comments and questions from the neighborhood and the general public. We do a staff review where we analyze the criteria in more detail and provide a staff report to in this case, the Planning Advisory Committee, who then would make a recommendation to Municipal Council. And then the Municipal Council would give a first reading. They would hold a public hearing, which would be another opportunity for public input. And they would provide a second reading which follows, and then a 14-day appeal period follows that second reading decision. So this is the process. It's fairly long. But this is the new approach, I think, for homes on new farms in the agricultural zone. This is the first application that we've received and processed under this new policy. So we will see how this process goes, but ultimately we are looking for public feedback, and that's the purpose of this public information meeting at this stage. So the properties within 500 feet are notified of this public information meeting, and those same landowners would be notified of the public hearing as well. So that's kind of the overview from the planning side of things. This is my telephone number. My name is Mark Fredericks. I'm a planner, and I'm working with the applicant on this proposal. My telephone number is 690-6276, and you can reach me by email or telephone. I'll leave this up on the screen for a moment, but I'll pass it back to the chair, Mr. Mayor, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fredericks. Mr. Mangat, to have a fulsome hearing, we give an opportunity to you if you wish. It's not necessary, but if you wish to add to the comments of the planner regarding your application so that folks who view this presentation subsequent to this day will have an opportunity to have heard from you. Anything you'd like to say about your application?
I just want to say thank you, and thanks for considering my application, and hopefully we'll keep the process a bit faster because I'm really badly looking for the house in the valley. So right now I'm renting a place in Kingston, in Greenwood. So I'll be happy to have my house there, and I wish we can all work close together. And have some news heard from the city council, or maybe for the next few months, maybe. And thanks for the mayor to coming up. And I think the first time meeting you, but we can meet in person too if have some opportunity in the future.
Thank you. I look forward to that.
Yeah.
From the point of view of the public, Mr. Fredericks has pretty much explained how you participate in the process. Mr. Fredericks, you're going to give notice to those within 500 feet of Mr. Mangat's property. Just for clarification to the people who may be viewing or listening to this,
yeah,
those people who live beyond 500 feet also have an opportunity to participate in the public hearing if they wish.
Certainly.
Okay.
But the 500-foot notices are simply to ensure that there's more notice given to those who are close to the property.
Okay.
So this presentation, as has already been indicated, is being recorded, and it will be posted to the municipal website.
Okay.
Members of the public will have the 30 days to view the posted presentation and provide questions and comments to Mr. Fredericks, which will be included as part of the report to the Planning Advisory Committee, and Mr. Fredericks has provided you with his contact information. We do request that when mailing or emailing or calling with questions or comments, that any member of the public doing so would provide their name and address and their community.
Okay.
And unless there's anything else to come before us, this is the point in time at which we would adjourn the process. Is there anything else, either Parvinder from you or from you, Mr. Fredericks?
No, it's fairly enough. Yeah. I know you guys took the time to look on my application. I'll be very thankful. Hopefully, we'll work together and have some more development or more meetings in the future. If we need to, we can do that. And once it's posted on the website, and hopefully all neighbors, once they have all this have seen and they have no objections or anything, I mean, that's going to be a good news for us.
Thank you. Mr. Fredericks, anything else before we adjourn?
No, I don't think so. Just I would encourage folks to drive by and down Taylor Road and see the amazing progress that the applicants made on the property. It looks really amazing. We just met out there on Monday, and it's looks like it's going to be a great orchard. It's got really good sun, and they've got a great well. So it's exciting. It's an exciting opportunity, and we're happy to work with the applicant on this process.
Okay, thanks to you both for your attendance and your explanation, Mr. Fredericks. And again, folks from the public, you can contact Mr. Fredericks at 902-690-6276 or by email at mfredericks@countyofkings.ca. Thank you all for viewing this presentation, and we are now adjourned.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you for